Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's teleconference. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us. We'll jump right into it. We're now joined with Sean Clark, the head coach of App State. If you have a question for Coach, please dial *1 on your phone. Again, *1 to get in the queue. Coach, thank you for joining us today. Would you mind starting us off with an opening statement?
Yeah, it was great to get back on the winning track versus a very good Troy team. I think Coach Lenz does a great job down there at Troy. Got a lot of respect for the program. But, again, it was good for our kids to get back to winning. I thought we played very well in all three phases of the game, and we're able to get some young guys playing at the end, and we kind of shifted our focus to Lafayette and hosting a top 20 Sunbelt team for the first time in school history here at the Rockland on Friday.
Thank you very much, Coach. As a reminder to our members of the media, it is a *1 to get in the queue. If you wouldn't mind, Coach, could you give us a little bit of a scouting report on Louisiana when you face them Friday night?
Program I have a lot of respect for. I think Coach Napier's done a great job in his 3 years down there. Again, they played for the championship the last 3 years, and it's no different this year. And when you watch them on tape, you see why they're so good. And I think all three phases play very well on offense. And it starts with Levi Lewis, our quarterback. He's the guy that makes them go on offense. Very elusive, got a very strong arm, and can beat you with his feet. And then they have the three-headed monster at running back with Mitchell and Regis and Smith, and a very good offensive line that's returning 3 starters. And on defense, it's a lot of the same guys we faced the last 3 years. I think number 4, Hill and Jones are standouts, and their Mike linebacker, Gardner, is a great player. And then on special teams, I think they have a very good special teams unit. So we'll have our work cut out for us here on Friday.
Coach, it seems like a lot of things are clicking for you guys right at the right time of year. Could you just talk about what's been working well for App State right now?
First off, we're getting back to being healthy again, and that's been kind of our nemesis the last few weeks, the last 5 weeks, to be honest with you, is injuries. And this past Saturday, we were able to get some guys back healthy and really make us go. But just getting back to the basics and trying to eliminate the pre-snap penalties and turnovers, and that's what we have to get done to be successful.
Coach, thank you very much for joining us today. We do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to place everyone on a brief hold. We'll be back with Jamie Chadwell of Coastal Carolina here shortly at 10:37 Central, so please stand by. All right, I'd like to thank everyone for holding. We are now joined with Jamie Chadwell, the head coach of Coastal Carolina. If you have a question for Coach, please dial *1 on your phone at this time. Again, *1 to get in the queue. Coach, thank you for joining us today. Would you mind starting us off with an opening statement?
Yeah, proud of our team this past weekend, having going on the road there and playing in just terrible weather. I thought we handled that very well. Played well in all three phases. Was able to go up there and get a victory and secure, our Eastern Division, something we wanted to do, and just proud of how we handled the whole trip and the whole build up to it, coming off a big win the previous week. A lot of people thinking it can potentially be a trap game, etc. And I thought our guys handled that well and showed some maturity as we went up there and played. So, looking forward to the opportunity we have this week. Obviously, a huge out of conference game, a traditional rival for us when we were at FCS. So a lot of history. With our next opponent, and one that a lot of people around here are looking forward to. So they're a great team rolling in here, and one that we're going to have to really play well to come out and try to get a victory.
Thank you, Coach. Our first questions come from Damian Sordelet with the Lunsford News. Please go ahead, Damian.
Jamie, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Good morning. I felt similar to the Big South days when Mark Simpson was announcing for those conference calls with doing some interviews when you were at Charleston Southern. And leading into that, when you were at Charleston Southern when Liberty and Coastal were there in FCS, and you got a chance to look at it kind of from afar. And what could you remember from those days when the Chanticleers and the Flames were big time rivals, and when you were in the Low Country having to catch up and dethrone those guys at Charleston Southern?
From afar, you always knew the game between Coastal and Liberty was always for something important. It was always a big game. I think there probably for a majority of the time it decided really who was going to win the league or get in that large bid, et cetera. So there was a lot of always something with that game. There was always a lot of build up to it, and always whoever was going to win that game had a chance to win the championship or go on into playoffs. It was always big, and obviously not knowing the inner workings of it being another institution, but as soon as I got here, I knew real quick how our university felt about Liberty and how Liberty felt about our university.
And second one for me is on Grayson Mccall, and he's been putting up some gaudy numbers this year and leading this offense to being as proficient as it's been. And have you, in preparation for Liberty, have you seen a pass defense as strong as what Liberty has throughout the season?
Well, Liberty does a fantastic job in the secondary. Now we've seen some good secondaries in our league, obviously, but they do a great job. And really all around, their defense is one of the best that we've seen all year. The way they play and they play hard, and that will be a challenge for us, because they do a good job of covering the pass and limiting big plays. They make you earn everything. So we'll definitely have our cut out for us. And Grayson will have to play well for us to try to move the ball and make some plays.
Yeah, and the last one from me, Malik Willis at quarterback for Liberty. Have you faced a dual threat like him, and what challenge does he pose to your defense?
Well, we've in our league we've got some really good quarterbacks that are dual threats. We've played some of those guys. I don't know if we've played quite the elite athlete that he is, where he obviously can throw the ball, but when he gets out in the open, it's hard to tackle him, and he can really run. So from an athletic standpoint, he's an elite athlete, and that presents a huge challenge because when they spread you out, they do the quarterback runs. He's strong, he's physical, but he has the speed to take it the distance. So I don't know if we've seen somebody with his elite athleticism. We've got some really good dual threat quarterbacks in this league. But I don't know if they match his athleticism.
Thank you, Damian. Our next questions come from Alan Blonin with the Sun News. Please go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, hey, Coach. When you scheduled Liberty early in the year, you guys were just looking to fill some games, I think. I mean, I'm sure you couldn't envision that it was going to be a top 25 matchup. And are you still as happy that you have them on the schedule now as you were when you first put them on it?
I guess probably ask me after Saturday. I'll let you know that, Alan. Yeah. Hey, I mean, at this time of the year, you get an opportunity to play a game that's a top 25 match. That's a big deal. And obviously they're really good, but I think our team is too. So it's a great opportunity for us in the Sun Belt to win an out-of-conference game, and especially one versus the top 25. That just helps us in our program continue to grow. But they're extremely good, and they're a block field goal away from being undefeated, and beating 3 ACC teams. So they have got a lot of talent, and they're playing really well. So it'll definitely be a huge challenge for us, and but it's on our schedule, so we got to go find a way to make it happen.
All right, and I just want to ask you a little about Isaiah Likely. Of all the players on your team, do you feel that he might be the guy that's most suited for the NFL if he has that opportunity, and if you just want to talk about his skill set a little bit?
Well, I'm not obviously at that level, so I don't know what they look for. I think we've got a few guys that have potential on our team to get to the next level. He's obviously one of those. The thing with him is, he's 6'4", 250, and he runs extremely well. He's very gifted from a standpoint of being able to run and physical and strong, just a natural strongness. Got great hands, and most people, this, but most people, don't know he's playing through an injury that requires surgery right now. So he's got a lot of toughness as well. And so with the way the NFL is and the way they use tight ends, I do think he has a good shot of having a chance to continue, his playing career beyond college. He's got that type of skill set, and he was banged up for us, and we're trying to work him back in slowly in the last couple of weeks. He's gotten accustomed to his injury and playing through the pain, and he's had 2 really big games the last couple of weeks, and he's a huge part of our offense. And with him being, majority healthy, and he's not 100% obviously, but he makes us very dynamic in the things that we can do with him.
All right, Coach. I believe it's a foot injury. Is there any way of confirming what his injury is?
It's a lower body. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
All right, thank you, Alan. We've got time for one more. We'll go with Gene Spackoff with Charleston Post. Please go ahead, Gene.
Hey, Jamie. Who do you look to as a model for shaping a really good, really successful program, and also for, dealing with the distractions that come with this kind of success you're having?
Gene, I don't know if I look at anybody. I've not, I've started at obviously a low level, so I've never really been at a high level to, I learned under this guy. You learn under each coach you played for, you learn under each coach you coached with. I try to study different things in the off season of guys that I felt like have strong cultures. I think Coach Sweeney has a strong culture up at Clemson, so there's things that you try to see how they do some things. But a lot of it is also, when you start at a lower level like I did, you can make a lot of mistakes and nobody cares. And so, you learn as you go and you have some experiences. And so try to sort of just develop it through that. And then from a distraction standpoint, I think you try to. That's a hard answer because most people don't go through this all the time. It might be ever so often, and so you try to just handle it. I try to listen to what my mom tells me to do. To be honest with you, I'll tell her things I'm going through, and she'll say, "Well, remember I raised you to do this and that." And so I try to handle it that way and be honest with the team and be honest with people and go from there. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, Gene, but that's what she tells me to do, so I always listen to my mama.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Gene, and thank you, Coach. That's all the time we have for you today. Do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we are now joined with Steve Campbell, head coach of South Alabama. If you have a question for Coach, please dial *1 on your phone at this time. Again, *1. Get in the queue. Coach, thank you very much for joining us. Would you mind starting us off with an opening statement?
Yep, good morning. Yep, very proud of the way that our guys played this past week. They overcame a lot of adversity and was able to go on the road and get a good conference win against a very explosive Arkansas State football team. Proud of the way that they responded to the adversity. We've wound up going down by 10 in the second half, and our starting quarterback, who had been playing really well, Desmond Trotter, went out with a lower body injury, and Tanner McGee, a freshman, stepped up and played tremendously well and made some plays. We had to make some plays. We had to score some points, and Tanner did that. He got the ball to Jalen Tolbert, who had a career night, who really played exceptionally well. Defensively, we got the stops that we needed, and so I was really proud of the way that the guys did bounce back. We were without the conference's leading tackler in Riley Cole, and I was really proud of the way that the defense stepped up and the way that the guys responded through a lot of adversity to go get a road win in the conference. So now we turn our attention to, a very good Troy football team, a team that, again, is explosive and plays with high tempo offensively and very, very athletic defensively.
Thank you, Coach. As a reminder to our members of the media, *1 to get in the queue. Coach, going back to Saturday night, would you mind talking a little bit more about Tolbert, something about Player of the Week offensively this week, and just what he's meant for the team this year?
Yeah, Jalen, we've relied heavily on Jalen this year. He's an outstanding player and a great young man. He played extremely well the other night and did a great job running routes and then finishing plays. He's has played well for us all year, and the other night he was playing really well early when Desmond was in there. He made got us on the board early and put us in position to score. But then, once Desmond went down, there was a lot placed on Jalen, and he went. You always want your guys to pick up. You say everybody says next man up, but that means everybody around that next man needs to step up too. And Desmond really did that, or Jalen really did that, stepped up and made some tremendous catches and, the runs after the catch. So, can't say enough about the way that he's played this year and the way that he played the other night.
If you could, Coach, could you give us a little bit of a scouting report on Troy for Saturday's contest?
Yeah. Troy, offensively, very explosive. They can really throw the football, but, the last year we made the mistake of we let them, they can run the football if you play too much coverage. So, they've got good backs, good offensive line. The quarterback's been very efficient. Reggie Todd, big physical receivers, and they've got some speed at receiver. So offensively, they're very explosive and they play with the high tempo. Defensively, Cholo, the defensive lineman, I think is one of the top defensive linemen in the league. Colton Marshall at linebackers, has been and is again this year. It seems like he's been there for 7 years. Heck of a linebacker. So they've got some of the, athletically, defensively, a lot of great athletes. They're a very well coached football team. So we need to have a great week of practice and go out and execute on Saturday.
Coach, thank you very much. Do appreciate your time, and thank you for joining us today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to place everybody on a brief hold here. We will not have Jake Spavital of Texas State on today. We will take a little bit of a break here, about 8 minutes. We'll be back with Chad Lunsford of Georgia Southern. So everyone just please stand by, and we'll be back with Coach Lunsford of Georgia Southern. All right, thank you for holding, everybody. We are now joined with Chad Lunsford, the head coach of Georgia Southern. If you have a question for Coach, please dial *1 on your phone at this time. Again, *1 to get in the queue. Coach, thank you for joining us. Would you mind starting us off with an opening statement?
Yes, no problem. Coming off a disappointing loss, really 2 weeks in a row, 2 games that we feel like we had won and then didn't finish and let them get away. So disappointed in that. We've also decided to make a change offensively with our offensive coordinator spot, and so what we're looking to do is keep our identity similar to what we're doing, but try to add a little more energy and stuff to our offense, and see if we can get things going, see if we can correct things this coming week. Excited about the opportunity to be back at home. To play a Florida Atlantic team that's having a really good season at 5-1 will be a really good challenge for us, and excited to play in front of our crowd at night under the lights in Paulson Stadium.
Thank you very much, Coach. As a reminder to our members of the media, it's *1 to get in the queue. Coach, you talked a little bit about Florida Atlantic. Would you mind giving us a little bit of a scouting report on the Owls?
They obviously have done a good job throughout their schedule. Their only loss being to Marshall, who is a really good football team. And, on offense, they're an 11 personnel team. We'll jump in some 10 personnel stuff. Really like to run divide zone and stretch. Like to challenge you down the field vertically. I think they're very strong at the wide receiver group. And they've been playing 3 quarterbacks. Number 11 has been the latest starter. Number 6, he started early in the year. But they have been rolling some quarterbacks in and out, which kind of changes things up a little bit. Defensively, they're a 3-4 defense. We'll jump into some 4-down stuff, really athletic. Do a really good job with their defensive line of reading and reacting. They'll bring pressure with their outside linebackers and They'll play man coverage behind it. Definitely an athletic football team, and has shown to be really good defensively, only giving up 11.2 points per game. So, and also, too, their run defense, only giving up 105 yards a game. So, definitely a big-time challenge for us.
Coach, thank you very much. We do appreciate your time, and thank you for joining us today.
Yep, thank y'all. GATA.
Thank you. All right, we're going to place everyone on a brief hold. We'll be back with Blake Anderson of Arkansas State here at 11:05 Central Time. So please stand by. Thank you very much for holding, everybody. We're now joined with Blake Anderson, the head coach of Arkansas State. If you have a question for Coach Anderson, please dial *1 on your phone at this time. *1. Thank you. Coach, would you mind starting us off with an opening statement?
Sure. Obviously disappointed in the loss. For like 2 weeks in a row, actually 3 weeks in a row, we've had opportunities to win and couldn't finish, with the lead or even an opportunity to go up by 2 scores in the second half in 3 games in a row, conference games, and just don't have the energy to juice to finish it, or just can't execute well enough to do so. Disappointed in that, frustrated, but very, very proud of the way the guys are playing in terms of effort, man. They're fighting all the way through 60 minutes. They've been through a lot this season and just continue to battle and try to work to get better. Issues for us in this game were, we had opportunities to go up by 2 scores in the second half and just couldn't convert drives. Kind of came down to 3rd and 4th and short for us on offense a little bit. A couple empty possessions where we just didn't move the chains. Defensively did a great job against the run, but just could not defend the deep ball and just gave up too many explosive throws over the top. But had a chance to go down and win it late, forced a field goal, and had a chance to go down and tie it up late, and it just fell short. But again, I'm proud of how the guys are battling. They've been through a lot with how we've been hit this year, and we know that's something that we didn't anticipate and didn't expect, and we're just having to try to fight through. But ultimately, I'd love to see us find a way to execute down the stretch and get a win, and hopefully we can do that this week. We still got 2 games left, and like to find a way to battle to 5-7 and finish up with some positive energy as we get into the off season and try to build these guys back up and get them back feeling better and back on track. But we got to find a way to do that this week and finish the game.
Thank you very much, Coach. As a reminder to our members of the media, *1 to get in the queue. Our first questions come from Luke Matheson with the Red Wolf Report. Please go ahead, Luke.
Hey, Blake, you mentioned the explosive plays that South Al had against the defense. And I know you're not a guy to make excuses, but I also know that there's a lot of youth in that secondary, and, COVID, injuries, things like that have affected that skill position. What are some of the things that those young guys can take from that game and learn to help over these next 2 weeks?
Well, everybody can learn from every outing, and in this particular case, just played some really poor technique. Inside leverage, supposed to be outside leverage, supposed to be over the top. Where's your help coming from? I feel like 2 weeks in a row on some of the deep balls, we just have really played with poor technique. You gain confidence by doing it right and learning from it. You obviously can learn from mistakes, and we're learning some of those lessons right now. But we are inexperienced, but we have some talent. We've got to keep teaching them and learn from the mistakes and hopefully just get better. They executed well with their half boot stuff and their double move shot plays, and with the exception of just a couple, we did not defend it well, and that's 2 weeks in a row really where we've kind of gotten exposed in the back end, whether it be inexperience or just poor technique in general, and that's something we got to address.
Obviously, Bubba went down in the game, and I know you said Saturday it was the patella tendon. Supposed to get looked at yesterday. Have you got anything else on him?
Yeah, we did get good news. He did not tear the ACL, so it's just a ruptured patella tendon, which will be surgically repaired tomorrow, and in all likelihood it'll be just a normal recovery and should be back playing at a high level next year, which is a big blessing because, if you have both, it really extends the recovery time to a point where he probably would not be able to play again. And he's got the extra year that's been awarded him, so we're excited to be able to get good news, and now we can get him well and healthy and get him back on the field.
Obviously, ULM coming in this week, a game that was rescheduled from earlier in the year, but they have done pretty well defensively against the passing game, but they seem to give up a lot in the running game as well. What are you expecting from those guys?
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I'm way more focused on us right now. We got to find a way to finish. They'll come in and play their best. Everybody that we play right now is seems like they had their best game against us. Maybe maybe we can find a way to finish in the lead in the last 3 games and just couldn't hold on to it, couldn't make the plays down the stretch. They always kind of come in with a balanced attack offense. They're playing a ton of man-pressured looks on defense. And so, I think it's important that we get the running game going. It has looked better the last couple of weeks, and that's been a big part of us being able to move the chains. But it comes down to us not having empty possessions and finishing drives in the end zone, and defensively, being able to defend the big play. And these guys are going to throw the ball over the top just like everybody else has, so we're going to have to defend that better than we did this week.
Final question for you. I know despite the record, your guys, and we saw this the last few weeks and especially Saturday, your guys have just refused to lay down and quit. They're still fighting. They still want to win. Just as a coach that's going through a bad season, what does that do for you and your staff, knowing your guys are still giving it their all?
That means a lot. I mean, you can only control what you can control. And, we've been through a lot the last few years, things off the field that were out of their control with my battle and Wendy's battle and all the things we dealt with the last year and a half. And then this year, COVID, and that's out of our control as well. And the fact that it hit us as hard as it has, they've done everything we've asked them to build their bodies back up and won't really fully get to recover till the off season. But they are battling and playing for 60 minutes. Now, we need to play better. And that's where we can take ownership and just keep working on our technique. But I've seen teams lay down. I've seen teams quit. This team has not done that, and they're not going to. And we're just going to keep pushing and try to fight to get better and regroup in the off season and build these dudes back up where we've got the team that we're capable of being back out on the field. So I'm really proud of that. And I know that's not a great consolation prize for the fan base, but we got a bunch of kids that are not quitting on us, that are continuing to fight. Hopefully they'll keep fighting for them.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Luke, and thank you, Coach. Do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we are now joined with Matt Viator, the head coach of ULM. If you have a question for Coach, please dial *1 on your phone at this time. Again, *1 to get in the queue. Coach, thank you very much for joining us today. Would you mind starting us off with an opening statement?
Yeah, thanks. Obviously it didn't go our way against the Raging Cajuns. Give Coach Napier and his staff a lot of credits. We do. I mean, just totally outplayed us. Thought we came out, and I thought we were ready to play. I mean, 21-14 right there, toward the end of the first quarter, and, we're in the game, and it's kind of back and forth, and it just got away from us. So, like I said, congratulations to those guys, and, and we'll move forward. We go up to Jonesboro, and we obviously, the history here, we didn't have a lot of success against Arkansas State, but, good football team, tough place to win, no doubt. They still throw it and catch it, throw it around and catch it as good as anybody does. And like both their quarterbacks, like them a lot. I think they're both very good football players. I think they're both really good college quarterbacks. And then, who's not impressed with Adams? I mean, he's a phenomenal football player. And I admire what he does each and every week. And whether they're winning or they're losing, I mean, a guy goes up and catches balls in traffic and gets hit, and I haven't seen many games that he don't, same stat line, 10, 11 catches for 150, 200 yards, it seems like every week. And the other thing I think they're doing too here lately is, they're running the football a lot better, and, they're really doing some damage on the ground and stuff. So anyway, it'll be a tough game for us, and, we got to regroup. We obviously have a lot of guys out, but, we wanted to keep playing hard, and I thought we did. I know the score was what it was, but, our kids kept battling and tried to stay in there, and, we just have kids that have to play a lot more snaps than what they should be playing. But, we'll regroup this week and go up and play, go up and compete against Arkansas State.
Thank you, Coach. Just a reminder to our members of the media, it's star one to get in the queue. Coach, you gave us a pretty good scouting report there on Arkansas State, and would you mind just talking a little bit more about what you feel like you need to do to be successful on Saturday?
We obviously we can't make the mistakes we're making, especially early in the game. And I keep saying it every week, but we look up and we're at least 14 down, early in the game, and then we battle back, and it's the same theme. We battle back to 21-14, and then it's just. But I think that's the biggest thing. To give a chance. Give us a chance. We can't be fighting, from behind the whole game. And I give the kids credit. We've battled back in every game to make them interesting at some point, but you just can't do that. So I think that's the main thing we have to be able to do, and we have to certainly have some kind of answer, for the deep ball and what Arkansas State does every week, and that's it has too also since I've been here, and playing Arkansas State, those 50-50 balls are, they tend to go their way more than not, and we'll have to prevent some of that for sure.
Thank you, Coach. Our next questions come from Paul Meinberg with USA Today. Please go ahead, Paul.
Hey, Matt. Good morning.
Good morning.
I know it's been a very challenging year for you, your staff, your players, amid obviously, very unique circumstances, even if you take football out of the equation. I'm curious, you've had a lot of success as a coach through the years. Your program made obvious growth the last few years in and out of the Sun Belt. For this 2020 group, what do you show your team or maybe say to your team as you try to preach the positive and build optimism amid this sort of challenge? What steps are you taking to show them the good things, even if there's nothing that you can show them in the standings that reflects that?
Yeah, I just, like this morning when I met with the team, I point out the really good things that we did and point out the, individuals and who's doing, the things. And, it could be, something that maybe is trivial to somebody else, but we're really concerned about special teams because, Louisiana, has the number one punt return team, number one kickoff return team, and we more than held our own. We covered and actually got a turnover, off of one of them and converted to a score. And, I think you point things out like that and, and you continue like we're going to do. And, we continue to compete as coaches. We continue to prepare as coaches and we can, and we continue to treat them with the utmost respect like I always have, and losing stuff is tough on everybody. But, we have to continue to do our jobs and watch after our players and make sure our players are graduating and doing all the things they need to do and make sure that they come to practice every day and work to get better. And we have, and that, I guess that's what's kind of frustrated me, that I haven't been able to help them more because they continue to come to work. The ones that are here continue to come to work and work hard and everything. And I think the most frustrating thing for me is I want to help them out and, trying to find the right answers to help them out.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you as a follow-up, Matt. You mentioned briefly there that you felt the team has gotten better as the year has gone on. Can you expound on that a bit and tell me how you noticed that, even if, as you said, it's challenging to get a team together in these circumstances?
I'm saying that I think what we've done is, they've continued to come work every day and, we're doing the things that we asked them to do and stuff. In terms of the progression, I think with the injuries we've had and the kids that have opted out or quit, whatever you want to call it, I think we haven't really had consistency in terms of getting better each week. It's kind of been a wait and see really, like I am right now, to who we're going to have available, for practice tomorrow. But it's been that way every week. And look, it's like that for other people. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying. But I admire the ones that continue to come each and every day and work to get better. And I think we have improved in some areas. But, like I said, my main job is, and my main frustration is, it's my job to help them. And, it's frustrating sometimes when, you don't think you're doing the things that can help them.
Appreciate your time. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Paul. And thank you, Coach. Really do appreciate your time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You as well. If everyone can stand by, we're going to place everyone on a brief hold, and we'll be back with Billy Napier of Louisiana here shortly. Please stand by. All right, thank you for holding, everybody. We're now joined with Billy Napier, the head coach of Louisiana. If you have a question for Coach, please dial *1 on your phone at this time. Again, *1 to get in the queue. Coach, thank you very much for joining us today. Would you mind starting us off with an opening statement?
Good solid win Saturday on the road in Monroe. Can't be complimentary enough of the staff and the leadership and ownership that we got from the players. Certainly a little different week for me, not being able to go to practice, but I thought everybody really stepped up. We had a lot of people that, were in different roles. We were without a handful of players in the game. Had some guys contribute more than usual. And then once we got the game under control, we were able to play quite a few players. So that's always good for morale. It's certainly good for the development of some of the young players. So good weekend. Always tough. We've got so much success with his staff and his team, how they play. So we turn the page here pretty quick.
Coach, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sorry. I was losing you there a little bit.
Right. We getting ready, we turned the page here pretty quick and getting ready to go to Boone, North Carolina on Friday evening and play. Can't say enough about App State and their tradition and winning, the history of that place, what they've been able to accomplish in the Sun Belt. Certainly their transition from FCS to Group of Five. They've done it as well as anyone, certainly have been the standard in our league for a long time. So a lot of respect for them. And, certainly when you put the film on, there's not a lot of chinks in the armor here, if any. Really veteran team that knows how to win. They've got an identity in all three phases of the game. Great team speed and certainly very familiar with them, having played them 4 times over the last 2 years. So, going to be a challenge and certainly good to be relevant and this time of year and, excited about the opportunity to play against a really good football team.
Thank you, Coach. As a reminder to our members of the media, it's *1 to get in the queue. Coach, it just seems like everything's really clicking for your team right now. What do you think has been some of the factors that have contributed to the Raging Cajun success?
Well, I think we've gotten really good leadership from the players. And it's been a very unique year. Certainly been through the gauntlet this year in terms of all the different things that how we've had to operate. So I think got a good staff and got some good player leaders. I think that's the big thing here is keeping everyone together, and staying focused on improving. Although we have a decent record, I felt like early in the season in particular that we hadn't necessarily played our best ball and we still had lots of room to improve. But big picture, we've stayed the course and been working hard on some of these plans and solutions for improvement. Staff's done a good job with that. And we've grown up some young players. We've got more continuity in some positions. And I think it's a lot like basketball here. It's time to play your best ball here as you approach the tournament. And certainly, these next couple of weeks are going to be some of the best teams in our league for sure.
Coach, thank you very much. We do appreciate it, and thank you for your time today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. If everyone can stand by, we're going to place everyone on a brief hold, and we'll be back with Chip Lindsey of Troy here shortly. Please stand by. All right, thank you for holding, everybody. We're now joined with Chip Lindsey, the head coach of Troy. If you have a question for Coach, please dial *1 on your phone at this time. Again, *1 to get in the queue. Coach, thank you for joining us today. Would you mind starting us off with an opening statement? Coach, are you there? All right, Coach, are you with us? Seem to be having some technical problems here. All right, I think we're going to try to get Coach back here in a minute. If everyone can stand by, we'll try to get Coach Lindsey back here shortly.
All right.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
All right. There we go. Well, thanks for joining us. Would you mind starting us off with an opening statement?
Sure. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Obviously, had a tough weekend at App State. I'll say this: it was good for me to be back with our team. I've been gone about, I guess, 10 days, and it was a tough deal to watch your own team play on TV the week before. But it felt good to get back with our guys. We have had a ton of adversity here the last 3 weeks with some COVID issues and so forth, but we knew that going into the season we would probably face some of that. So I tell you, I do have new respect for our players who have been positive with COVID because until you get it, I'm not sure you understand the effects it can have on your body from a fatigue standpoint and ability to practice and play. And we were great early in the year with very few cases, and the last 3 weeks we've been hammered. And what you realize real quick when you look at who's been available to practice and play is that the consistency's not there, especially on the offensive side where everything revolves around consistency and timing and so forth. And when you can't practice the same guys all the time, I think that creates some of that. And also, what it makes you do is play guys maybe that aren't quite ready yet or so forth. So we've been dealing with that. I do feel really good about us being really close to being back somewhat normal this week. Hopefully things have run their course here at Troy from a COVID standpoint, and now we've turned our attention to the battle for the belt, big rival here with South Alabama. And I know those guys are playing better and better, and it should be a great game, and we're excited to start preparation for them. Questions?
Thank you, Coach. So a reminder to our members of the media to *1 to get in the queue. Would you mind just talking about South Alabama a little bit? Just give us a little bit of a scouting report on them.
Sure, love to. South Alabama, I think they're a team that's getting better and better as the year has gone along. I know they've had some issues just like everybody else with COVID and some inconsistent lineups, I'm sure. And, I see a team that's playing extremely hard. I know when I watched them play their last game versus Arkansas State, they made explosive plays in the passing game. And I think that's the key. That they've got some of the better wideouts in our league. We're going to have to do a great job of trying to limit their opportunities defensively. They run to the ball well. They got a very good player in Riley Cole who plays linebacker for them, who I think is probably an NFL player. They have a safety that I'm very impressed with. So I think they're much improved. You can see that this being Steve's third year, that I think the team is starting to take shape and what he wants it to look like. And anytime you play a rivalry, man, the records go out the window, and it'll be a fun game to play in. And I know our players are excited about that.
Coach, thank you very much for joining us today. We do appreciate your time.
All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And that'll conclude this week's teleconference. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us. A copy of this will be posted on the Sunbelt Conference website later today. We hope everyone has a great week and safe travels. 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 Great week and